Hello. So we've got a simple demonstration showing an endpoint using reactive programming, using Spring Boot's WebFlux dependency, and using Flux. So first, let's look at our blocking endpoint. The typical, we're returning a list of type stock. Let's see what stock is. We have a string, ticker symbol, and then price per share and percentage change. So in our top layer, top level, our controller, we're going to be working with stocks/blocking, and that's going to call the service layer this method, get all stocks blocking, which is going to take the current start time of this method. It's then going to head to the repository layer. We're just mocking, getting data from the repo, and it's going to execute this method. So it's going to execute 5 times. We have an int stream, and each loop we're going to pause the execution of this thread for 1000 milliseconds, 1 second. I had to do some work around here to get this to work, make it a method reference. So we're also going to log processing stock number 1, 2, 3, 4 every second. And each loop, we're going to just create a new instance of stock with some dummy data. Finally, we're going to return it. Then in the service layer, we're going to log how many milliseconds it took to execute this method and return it to the controller, return it to the browser, wherever you're receiving this data. So let's see that in action. Stock/blocking. Now look, we're blocked. We're waiting 5 seconds. Oops, we're waiting longer than that. I didn't start the application. All right, now we're started. Let me clear these logs. Oh, it's doing it now. So it took 5 seconds, 5,032 milliseconds to be exact. And then we finally got our data. Show it again. We're spinning for 5 seconds. Boom. Clear that. Now let's look at our non-blocking endpoint called get all stocks async. Pretty similar. Heading to the service layer. We're looking at this method here, get all stocks async. We're going to take the current time. We're going to head to the repo layer and do the get all stocks async method, which returns a flux of stock. Pretty much the same thing, just some different syntax, terminology. We're going to be executing, we're going to be looping 5 times. Each time we're going to delay 1 second, and then we're going to log which item we're on and create a new instance of stock with some dummy data. So we're then going to log the time it took to complete this method in the service layer, and you will see what this line is all about in a second. So let's head to stocks/async. See, we're actually receiving the data real time in little packets of data. And look at this. Time taken to process request was reached before the method in the repository layer. That's pretty interesting. Correct me if I'm wrong. What I believe is happening is we hit this, and then the current thread continues execution, reaches this before the new thread reaches this log. That's what I believe is happening. Could be wrong, but I know this is useful. And you can see this line, it's executed before these even started. And we don't have to wait, we're not blocked. We get our data real time. It still took 5 seconds to get all 5 chunks of data, but we got each data pretty much emitted to us every second. So it's pretty cool.